In this episode, I talk with yoga teacher, fitness expert, and men's health coach Jai Sugrim. We talk about intense emotions, divine masculine and feminine, and the importance of surrender for inner strength. Jai gives me the lowdown on testosterone, what a good man is, and the value of vulnerability. Welcome to the Flower Lounge, a place for conversations with wildly creative people and a little plant-loving wisdom to help you experience life in full bloom. I'm Katie Hess, flower alchemist and founder of LOTUSWEI, and I believe in a world where we're all living at our personal edge.
Throat scrubbies. That's where this goes. Right from the get-go. That's where we're headed. Must be a flower community thing.
So we are in New York City right now drinking kombucha that our guest brought over so graciously. And we're really excited to be here for this Flower Lounge episode. I am scheduled to do a workshop with Jai on Sunday that I'm super excited about. It's called, what's the first part called?
You came up with sacred design.
Right.
That's nice.
So good.
It's just, that's like it's like an inversion. All right.
Design.
It's kind of mathematical. Like, I could just see it.
Divine masculine and divine feminine.
I know. People are a little scared of these things today. It's weird. Nature.
Yeah, so we're doing
laws of the universe.
We're doing a workshop on Sunday, and we took advantage because I've been wanting to interview Jai for a long time now since we met. And so usually I would introduce you, but I would like you to introduce yourself.
Wow, that's such a tough, weird thing to do. But I think if I had to say something, the world identifies me as a yoga and mindfulness teacher, but I have a long career. I've been a professional for 24 years, and I started in fields that sort of built sequentially, one into the next, so that knowledge from the previous field opened a door into another universe, but was foundational to add more subtle knowledge. So it went from very gross outer body, mind discipline.
Like athletics?
Yeah, like I started as a trainer, an athletic trainer, and that's conditioning the body and using really structured discipline programs to have specific adaptive responses. So I can train a rugby player, a baseball player, a professional runner by asking what energy systems do they use, what movements do they do, and how long do they perform? Are they running for 26 miles? Are they smashing another football player for 8 seconds? Are they sprinting up and down the field playing basketball or soccer? So that's where I started, and that's very scientific. And then I had a powerful experience where my brother died instantly in a motorcycle accident. And I went through like a process of pretending to grieve. I knew how devastated my mom was. So I didn't fully grieve. A mother losing a child is a really crazy thing. So psychologically, they're never prepared.
Right.
And I never processed it till years later. And then that, first I stood tall as a tough guy, older brother type, for the sake of the family. And then I secretly said, I'll run marathons and dedicate it to him, and that'll be cathartic. And when I finish the marathon, I'll heal and I'll be better. And I didn't. And I partied my face off like a maniac to try to get away from it. And I read everything in that section in Barnes and Nobles, everything. Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, started getting into spiritual teachings, reincarnation, just trying to look and look and look. And then my friend finished medical school, and he's like, we're going to India. My dad has a charity there he built a school for girls. So we're going to spend 6 weeks, and we're going to do a tour, and we're going to go to the school, and we're going to go to the Himalayas, and you should come. And that's the motherland. And I'm Indian, and it's like a Jew never going to Israel, right? And they go, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so Jewish. I want to marry a Jew. It was like, holy shit, there's a billion people that look like me. First of all, this is crazy. I used to identify as white till really late. It was really weird being the only Indian kid in an all white town, and like having an identity crisis and getting shy when your name was going to be called on the roll, because it's the only weird name that's not Jimmy and Timmy and Paul and Bobby. And
this is a beautiful name though.
Yeah, but when you're young, you have all these paranoias, right? It's layers of growth that you have to go through.
Sure.
And I never embraced my name till like after I went to India, and I changed it. I was using another name. My middle name was Robert, and I was always going by that. And I was like, no, I'm Jai. It means victory, dude. And it's been so powerful. So when I went to India, I saw all these people who, India tries to dick you over for $1. $1 is like a bag of rice. $1 to you is a bag of rice for a family. So the cab ride, they're going to try to get one over on you for $1. Once they're past that, they're the nicest people on the planet. Okay. Nicest people ever. Like really, they'll bring you in and feed you after they rip you off. Okay, Sid, come now. We eat the roti. So I saw very poor people being very happy. And when I went to India, I was a very successful celebrity trainer who was suffering inside. And I had it all outside. I lived in a fat pad outside of Central Park. I had celebrity clients. I could charge whatever I want. I had a wait list. I had 30 pairs of shoes, a great closet, good hair, a perfect body. And I came back from India after seeing people that didn't have much who were happy. And I looked in the mirror for about an hour at my eyes, and I saw all the muscles and I saw everything. And I said to myself in that moment, I had a gym membership at the Equinox, which is, real shishi gym. And I said, look at how much you've added to yourself. And it was obvious in the eyes and I went through a radical thing. Something just blasted through in my neocortex and said, what if you started removing stuff? It said something in me said, what if you started to take away stuff? And it's so weird. I don't know if I even wish this on anyone. I started giving my possessions away. Really, it was so, like when I get a download, I don't dick around or wait or pussyfoot. I move. And I think it can be good and it can be bad. It's very powerful for your growth. It's very bold and it's really crazy. That's why I don't wish it for people. I mean, just giving thousands of dollars worth of nothing, possessions. Like you just get rid of them, trim down the apartment, move to a simpler place downtown. And I walked that day to the Equinox gym and I canceled the membership. And I went to the yoga center and I got a member. I said, I need to do yoga. Yoga is going to help me remove things. And the first thing we're going to remove are these big muscles. You don't need this anymore. And I started practicing 5 hours a day immediately. I just got sucked into it 5 hours a day. So that's the trajectory. It's this trainer, this massage therapist, this NLP, neurolinguistic storytelling healer into yoga and meditation.
So what's your hot mess right now?
Everyone's a hot mess. I think most people are a hot mess. Everyone's sideways because of the drugs. And, our time is limited and our energy is finite. And when it's not in the right places, it brings our vibration down. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I helped someone out in my space and let someone move in for a little while to help them. And they just kept milking me and working me and just giving excuses and overstayed their welcome. And legally they're bound to be there. And it's just a backed up, horrible, negative mess where they're trying to extort money from me and really abusing the line of being a good, kind person and
taking advantage of your generosity.
Very, very, very much like 7 months worth. And now turning it around to push it in an area that's not even remotely ethical. And after owing me thousands of dollars, and I'm going to walk away from it. So when we were talking before, I look back at I have to learn something amazing from it because she did give signs, but I just didn't put my foot down like I should have. And I think that's going to be a nice lesson, but I allowed myself to feel my anger 3 times. And there's a side of me, or the old me. I think the spiritual practice can be a mask, it can be a garb we put on, and we want to embody this perfect yogi or master who's got it together. But I'm really pissed that someone was so in a negative space and in my house for that long. And I had to cohabitate this month. It only got really negative this month because I finally put my foot down. I go, the stories are the stories, but are you planning to pay me? And she lost it on me. And I was just like, okay. And then she started making up lies. So it just really made me sore. And it brought up, like, I'll be really raw. Like, I had some violent thoughts. I didn't act on them, but it brought up like something like that in me, like stuff from the doldrums, deep down, archaic shit. But it's real shit, and it's not nice shit. Like, my students meditate with me tomorrow. They're going to feel amazing at about 5:35. They're going to be on the fucking cosmos. But
yeah, but the whole point of practicing meditation in a class setting is so that you can become adept at it when shit is not hitting the fan, so that you become comfortable with it, so that when shit does hit the fan, then you have a little bit more space.
I think if I didn't have the practice, it would be worse. Like, I would really lose my cool. But I got angry. I told her off via text once and gave her a piece of my mind, and I regret it, but I know that's where I am now, and like, wish I could have done a little better, but it's also really wrong, and I'm just a guy also. Like, I'm just a dude in New York running around making money and paying taxes and trying to make the world a little better. So fucking, why does she have to get in my way of that? I'm not, it's a real wrench in things. But it's funny, every problem I've had in hindsight, when you future pace these things, they're not so bad. It's when you're in the thick of it, your own wheels are turning, making it worse.
But I think that we feel like we shouldn't feel things intensely sometimes. It's like, well, those are bad feelings or angry.
Right.
Or I remember, I'll share an experience with you that no one knows about.
Oh my God. No one but the listeners.
I remember once meeting someone that triggered me so much, clearly from a previous lifetime, because I knew this person for very little time, that I just I had this thought of like, I just want to throw a brick at this person's head, or like, I just want to and I was like scared and shocked. And I was like, how could I ever have a violent thought like that? I had never, ever, ever in my life had a violent thought like that before. And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't even know if this is my thought. Like, it could be their thought. And then I was like, you know what? And it doesn't even matter, because we're all interconnected. And so if I'm sensing this feeling in the space, as long as I can sit with it, it'll dissolve, whether it's mine, whether it's the other person's. But point being that, like, if we can use our meditation practice to create enough space to allow all the feelings, even the ones that were like, oh, gee, shit, this is really like, I'm ashamed of this. Or like, what if anyone knew I had a violent thought? Like, for some reason, we think they're bad, right?
Yeah.
If we can make enough space to have all of those parts and emotions and it still be okay, then they'll just dissolve quickly.
Yeah, I think that's what this year is about for me, is going into that with awareness, like just digging into things that I haven't fully unpackaged, or things that I should look at. Like, I treasure solitude. It's my teacher. I feel, this is so weird. It's a big joke. I mean, I feel like life is a distraction. Life itself is a distraction from the reality of the situation. There's so many things that pull us away from doing this, that I want to give myself the luxury to shine the light on myself. Like, I don't want to veer away from, some of us are lonely, so we surround ourselves with people, or sometimes we feel like we ought to go to the party, or not that these things are bad, but
what's the core, like, what's really going on, without trying to seek external comfort.
Yeah. And so that depth isn't, to be real with, I mean, like, it's beautiful. It's lonely, but it's also, it can be beautiful. And you don't want to be a hermit your whole life, but a little, that space, that isolation, and that it's not ego about being on a mountaintop, but you gotta like shroud yourself. So for me to see what I need to see, it doesn't feel painful. It doesn't feel like a fight to do a little introspection right now and personal unpackaging in ways that I couldn't as a kid. I couldn't, with something shifted in the past few years. There's a vision that I just never had. And I don't know, maybe it took a long time to mature to get here, to be able to have a foundation. When I was younger, I enjoyed writing. I was an English lit major and a bio major, so both sides of the brain work. But I started writing and I'm like, I'm corny. I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything interesting to say. And I was like, universe, give me life experience and then I'll have something to say. And boy, has it handed me some shit, like so much. And now I'm like, okay, that's enough. Let me just,
I have enough material to
I have enough material for a while. Let's structure this. But, you know, it's like somewhere along in that line, I grew up and here I am. And I feel like it's very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful to be here. And I'm lucky. I'm really lucky.
So what do you do? Like, what's your personal practice when shit hits the fan and you're either like,
well, I knew all along, but ego, you're nice. But then if you're being eaten alive, ego wants to snap back. And so I allowed myself to feel that. But what saved me, like in 2013, I was going to teach a massive yoga workshop class. It was like sold out. I'm walking in and I get into this call from my sister from New York. And we get into this argument and I lose it on her. And I curse her out. This is in 2013. And I was appalled at myself when the call ended. And I go, holy shit, you're an absolute moron. You know nothing. All these people are coming to see you and they're depending to hear something wise and have a great experience. And you just lost it on your sister. And I was very humbled and embarrassed. I mean, I taught whenever I'm in pain, I teach really amazing. It's just, I drop in so well for some reason. I surrender, right? Because you get at it out of your own way. But it taught me, that experience showed me that I was at the beginning of something, and to really, really calibrate. If you go there, there's not one time you'll own it like that was a good choice later. I had the depth to realize that. So before you fully act, it's like a devotion to rationalism. Even though the anger still comes, there's just like, there's not out of 1,000 times once where this is going to end well. If you lose full control. And so that's what saves me. It's the meditation and mindfulness practices are reminders. I think that truth is always there, but it's that don't act, dude, don't act. You're gonna regret. And so I think just remembering,
just like pause.
Get the fuck out. Don't do it. Just pause. Yeah.
Wait.
Hit the button.
Pause.
Cool off before you take. You're never going to win. I don't think there's a time. Like some anger is resourceful because
protective.
Yeah, like it takes action. You can get angry and then say, what should I do? But maybe later you'll do something positive. But acting in anger isn't going to ever end well. Somehow from that thing with my sister, I humiliated myself so much to go, be careful, like feel it, but be really careful. You're going to regret it. And I regretted what I did. So I think when we fail so bad that it's an example of, it's there for you. It's going to be held up that you should remember it, you know? So I meditate, I hang with cool people. One thing that's been hard. No.
Hang with cool people.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to, right? If you don't, like,
you mean like
you're done.
Yeah.
You know, if we weren't having this conversation, it wouldn't be as nice. It wouldn't have
depth and meaning.
Yeah, it wouldn't be stereoscopic. You know, it wouldn't be rich. You could. There's other things to do, but we have to be inspired. So there's cool people, I think, is really important. And this has been hard and recent this year. I love people to death, and I'm loyal. But I had to be a little mercenary. One of my friends is a really famous dude who's smarter than me and from a really plugged in family, but he's an idiot and he sabotages himself and he's just uses too many psychedelics and is ungrounded. And he's just sending me critiquing my career moves, and underneath might be a touch of, and we're buddies and we've been through so much, and it's just no more. I'm just not even judging. I'm just not able to be at that frequency, and just realizing it over a period of 8 weeks and going, oh, but I want to reach out. I want to call, I want to touch. And I go, I really don't. And being real with just like, I'm not up for it. When you pull it together, let's hang out. But right now I'm doing opposite things you're doing. You're complaining about victimization and I'm taking some action. So if I hang in your victim psychology for a while, it's just going to slow me down, bro. So it's mercenary fucking time. I am a soldier right now. And I've had to do it with a couple people. So that's hard. That's a hard one. Cause you're like, I know how talented this guy is and I know how plugged in he is. And I know how great he is, but why doesn't he do something with that? That's not my responsibility. We're all in our 40s now. Let's shit or get off the pot. 50's coming. Are you going to grow to be the teacher you want to be? Or are you just going to complain about people that didn't give you what you deserve? Go get it. Go get it, champ. Reframe the situation and go get it. So that's been tough one to realize that if you're talking about it, I don't want to talk. If you're doing it, let's hang out. But I don't want to talk about you doing it anymore just for this time because I'm not talking about it.
It just doesn't help to spend time with people who aren't making wise choices for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the weird part is you can't save anyone. People that have a hand up and are doing work can be helped. You otherwise give your class and people can pop in and assimilate it in pieces like I did. I had to put it together over many years of practice and for a period 5 hours a day, sacrificing everything to go all the way in, taking pilgrimages, living 6 months at a time in India, sitting in the jungle silently, almost lost my life with a parasite that nearly killed me. That's a scar. It scarred me. But yeah, that's what I think growing up is knowing, when you face death once for sure, and that could be it, something changes in you.
Oh my God, yeah.
You wake up in a way that is, there's before that and there's after that.
Definitely. I had a near-death experience when I was in Thailand, and that really shifted things for me.
Was it an accident or what?
I got sick.
Oh, okay.
And then I realized that I was dying or would die soon. And anyway, long story short, I didn't die clearly.
Yeah.
But just having gone through the experience that I did, losing my dog for so many 16 years, I think that's like an even more sort of amazing wake up is to watch someone take their last breaths.
Wow. Yeah.
I was telling Taylor today in the airport, because it's kind of the first time I've been out of my house in a couple of weeks after that experience. Mm-hmm. And I'm like looking around at everyone in the airport and I'm like, every single person here is going to have to do that. Yeah. They're going to have to take their last breaths.
Now that's intense. Yeah.
And I can guarantee no one in this airport acknowledges that or thinks about it or even maybe even uses the awareness of that to know how to live.
Oh, that's deep. Yeah. I don't know. Do you feel the weight of that? Honestly, the level of slumber we're in, consciousness is getting so polarized, right? The things we found as tools and the way we are, what we're trying. And you meet people that are super inspiring that have been on this podcast and that lead lives that are out of the ordinary and they make really unusual choices that have added to who they've become, right? But it's from childhood, we are in a system. I got a grant in 2013 and 2014 to teach at a high school. And what you see at a high school, it's as though arrows are being slung at these kids from a young age to not thrive. Mm-hmm. That's what they're being set up to be programmed for. And they're brilliant. Kids are loaded with a direction they can go in, but we don't give them an opportunity to thrive. And I think that is tough. That is tough. And life is complex. And there's honestly some really incredibly ignorant people out there, and it's just the way it is. It's just the way our system doesn't allow people to thrive. Some are born in a prison where they're on the government's meds. I mean, 30% or 40% of the women in the city are on SSRIs for sure. It's a fact.
So
it's super common. The level of work, the stress.
Pharmaceutical.
Yeah, pharmaceutical grade shit. Antidepressants. It's super common.
30 to 40% of women in Europe.
Yeah, that's what a doctor told me. There are a lot of meds that people are on. So we're not in a situation to like, and we're fumbling in the night looking for love, right? We're trying to bump into each other and find love when we don't even understand what we are. And we're not capable of giving any space for the person to unfold because we're in the dark looking for love and connection. And that's what we're doing. And so I'd be curious to talk to you, like you're teaching at the Reuben tomorrow, and we have this dynamic intuitive workshop coming up, right? So I look at it like there's two parts to this thing. I have a responsibility to really embody it, not bullshit it. So I have to make some very specific choices, like not flipping out on this girl is one. Okay. That was one. I could have flipped out more. So not flipping out is a good thing to not do, but to keep meditating, keep doing the practice, keep digging down into that well where that anger and violence came up, and unpackaging and just letting it go. Like that's my responsibility so I can show up. What kind of shadow work have you done, or are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, sure.
Give me a clue. Because I'm getting it. I'm having fun with it. I'm putting on my big boy shorts and I'm buckling my seatbelt and I'm ready. So,
Well, I think that, oftentimes we don't really wake up until something tragic takes place. And so, and when I say tragic, I don't necessarily mean like an unexpected car accident. I just mean like something that takes us out of our normal routine that, say like someone we're in love with breaks up with us, or someone we love very much dies or goes away, or, something really, really painful. And I think that through those, being able to be with yourself and be your own best friend in a compassionate way through the most intense emotional states and pain is one of the most powerful ways to wake up.
I agree with you. We should talk more and unpackage that because we run away or we shun that. And that is where I've grown the most. When you accept that something is transforming and you don't fight it anymore. Wow.
I think because we have a tendency to believe that those parts of us or whatever we're sensing is us, when in fact it's, more like clouds passing in the sky and we're the sky. Mm-hmm. So it's like you are not your anger, right? Mm-hmm. Your anger is just an energy that comes and it goes. And so if we can make friends with all those parts and pieces, especially the ones that we feel ashamed of, or we feel like they're wrong, or we don't like them.
Do you I've had some moments that were so painful. I'm lucky. So my Ashtanga teacher has been he's very interesting because he doesn't talk a lot. I'm fun and talkative and I like to bullshit and tell jokes and tease people. I run around the yoga center and bring a lot of vibe, and does it very powerfully, but he's mastered speech in the sense that he doesn't over talk, but he chooses his words so well, and everything because of this art and way of being, whatever he says, I remember. Over a decade of under his study, I can remember teachings about asanas, but he's also been there where the shit has really hit the fan and I don't know who to open up to. And I've just, over the 10 years, 3 different times, I'm like, hey man, I'm going through this. Can you make some time for a coffee? Can I talk with you? I don't even have that relationship with my dad. Like it's happened. My dad's very masculine, very militaristic, and the toughest guy. To this day, I don't think I could take my dad in a fight. And he's like 68.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's so tough that I feel like a child. Like I couldn't punch my dad if I wanted to. Like I think he could take me. He's a soldier. Yeah, it's fear still. Like fear is still instilled in me. So I didn't turn to my father. I turned to my yoga teacher, who's only like 8 years older than me. I never knew that. So he's almost like in a way, he's a peer, but yeah, I've had someone, so I'm curious with you, like when it gets dark like that and the world's caving in and you don't really have all the answers, someone that you perceive as wiser, I could just go, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm a little afraid of this moment. And he'll just sit there and listen. And he'll say, you know, you're growing now, or this time, he's like, you're 37 now. And this time in a man's life, you start to change and your mind is beginning to evolve. And just his presence and suggestions were grounding and telling me to go for it is what I needed. And I never harassed, like, you know, when you have a teacher, you're a teacher, you probably see some students who are like just looking for attention. It happens. And then there's some who ask questions and they value your time and you know you have a chance to share something. I never overdid it with him. So he was very healing to at least go and say that I'm under some stress and I really don't know how to handle this. Do you have people like that in your life, or like mentors that you can say, I don't know what to do? Like, or do you figure it out by yourself, the dark stuff, the pain when you're in extreme pain?
So I have a spiritual teacher.
Okay.
That I vetted for many, many years and have known him now almost 20 years.
Okay.
So if I need to go to someone, that's who I go to. But I also realized over the years, like I would say probably 20 years ago, I had a habit of like, if I had something really painful, I was like, I just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I realized over the years that got me into trouble in some ways, because it just sort of, not trouble, it's just sort of like
leak energy.
Instead of like allowing a hard experience to transform you from the inside out and very quickly, it just sort of like prolongs it and it makes it more messy and draggy. And so if I can eat it myself,
now
I will.
Yeah.
You know, I had a really difficult experience a couple of years ago, and it just that like really brought me to my edges. And so I would say that for the most part, I try to just like hold it and like go really slow and, you know, not kind of keep it to myself in a way. But yes, if I have like something really confusing or, you know, that really takes me out, I have someone I can go to. Yeah.
So I think that's important. You know, like people listening to this, you know, you need, how do you find that? Like I was looking for this person at a certain time in my life and I didn't have a daily teacher. So I'm like a little old school with practices like in the Indian system or like Chinese martial arts systems, like the idea of a sensei or a master, it's not necessarily a Western thing because guru is tricky and scary.
Right.
So, but I was looking for someone that knew more than me that I could see every day. So I went to Dharma Mitra for 6 months and realized it's not it. I love him. And I went to other teachers and go, this isn't it. And I went here and that wasn't it. And then I went to the Broome Street Temple and met Eddie Stern, and he taught me the closing sequence and something flew into my third eye. And I go, this is it. And he goes, so you had a good experience? And I go, yep. And I go, I'd like to come regularly. He goes, how's 5:45? I go, great. See you tomorrow. And I suffered for 3 months. I started getting up at 4:30, making coffee, just adapting because I did it in high school. But 4:30 for me is when the clubs close, and that's when you go home and rest. And now I'm waking up and walking in Soho to the Broome Street Temple to do 2 hours of Ashtanga yoga and meditation and mantras. And people are like leaving the clubs, and I'm like, that was me. That's what I did for a long time in my life. And that daily anchoring, like you do something enough to where, you know, you fill the well with positive habits that outweigh the negative habits. And the water in the well surpasses the level where that choice is automatically repeating. You have a little space. And I think we're built on blood, sweat, and tears. Like if you don't do it, you're done. You can't. People are so whack, man. Guys are telling me I hacked cleaning my room. I found a hack. No, it's called waking up and making your fucking bed. You moron. Put things where they belong. There's no hack. Millennial nonsense talk about hacking it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
There are no shortcuts.
Make the bed and clean your room and don't be a pig. It's like a life thing. It's a skill. So I'm a process oriented guy, and I teach sadhana, and I don't fuck around. I'm like, do it. And don't, if you don't do it, then why would we even do it? It's on the foundation that, look, you're a young business owner and you have pressure, and sometimes at work, a masculine energy would be useful.
It is useful.
It is. And so you have to be real with that. You have to fire people sometimes. You have to decide who's going to do the best construction job out of these 4 people, and who's going to do it well at the right price that I can afford. You need your mind to be, your switches to be in a certain area. And so understanding that is very powerful. And when I give a massage, I don't want to be in dominant leader clinical mode, even though I'd like to be informed about where the muscles originate and insert, so I don't do something whacked at your knee and hurt you. But I need to listen to your body. The same pressure for Taylor won't be the same pressure for your body, possibly. You might be calibrated differently neurologically to touch, right? So listening, receptivity. And so the work is important, but I believe gender roles occurred in nature because we can be complementary. And so we have to look at our evolutionary past and the hindbrain to realize why this is important, why we're attracted to men. Still like femininity. They do. And women like masculinity, whether they want to admit it or not. They're suckers. They'll fucking fly across the Atlantic and crawl into a guy's apartment in Brooklyn to sleep with him if they like him. They just will, okay? Against all thoughts, they just will do it. They like bad boys. Why is that? We have to look at those things. You don't have to be a bad boy. You don't have to be an asshole. But we have to ask ourselves, what are those qualities that we're attracted to? And what is a good man? What is a good man? And I think at the foundation, you're never going to get away from a good man has to be strong. And it doesn't have to be physical strength. They can be a strong scholar. They can be a strong yogi. Like my teacher can't bench what I bench and can't throw a punch as hard as I can throw a punch. But he's a fucking strong motherfucker in the world. He handles his business well. He speaks absolutely incredible public speaker. His style is impeccable. He's to the T dressed in fitted suits, like amazing. Drives a Vespa, he's real hip, has a wife, has a daughter, his shit's together. That's a strong man. But and we're not talking about a guy who drives a Harley and, kicks back tequila shots, which I like to do every now and then. He doesn't go to the gym. He tried it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't eat half a steak, a cow every day. But it's the strength, the discipline, the mastery of your own mind. He said something that never left me. He goes, we practice, Jai, to to have power over ourselves, not others. That's second. We practice to have power over our mind. And it stuck. I was just like, okay, I totally get that. So a good man has to go his own way. He has to find out, like the space I'm in right now is like, let me unpackage these dark things. Let me unpackage these parts of the family DNA that I'm scared about, the things in my family that freak me out. Like some of the men in my family are bad men. They're bad fucking men, but they're from the jungle. We're from the jungle. We're warrior class Indians. We never let the British rule us. Like to survive that is gangster shit mentality. And not too long ago, everyone's a gangster. We're all apes that just stood up recently. That's what we are. We're an ape that stood up. It's a miracle that people drive on the right side of the street. It's an absolute miracle. There is an all-out waging war 24/7, that people are even obedient to me. That's how archaic we are inside. We're an ape. So
Come
Don't you
on,
think?
man. Come
no,
on.
you don't think
No.
so? Oh, really?
I think
Do you want to go out on the street right now with me and see the zombie show on St. Mark's Place? Have you seen Night of the Living Dead? It's going on right now. It's going on St. Mark's Place, Night of the Living Dead. There's zombies. There's a zombie crawl. There's a fucking organized zombie crawl in New York in about an hour.
I don't doubt that.
Okay, because I could prove it if you want to see the limbic system in full effect.
I don't doubt that. I think there is some human intelligence.
A little. IQ's gone up about 2 points in the last 10 years, which is astounding. But no, I think good man is getting in touch with yourself. If you're on autopilot, if you're taking the meds, and if you're doing the job that you don't love, and you're repressing your emotions, and you're not able to have a fulfilling sex life, or you're just angry inside. That's what this gun violence is about. It's not about guns. I'm sorry, people. It's the explosions. No, the guns in the high schools, kids shooting.
Well, they're on drugs. I mean, they're taking pills.
That's part of it, but they're misguided channels for testosterone. These guys are fucked up. They're on the internet, and they're not on dates, and they're angry, and they're not playing sports, and they're not. Testosterone, Katie, is different. It tells us to kill it or fuck it. That's all it does. It's a signal we should be locked up. Every one of us, you should never see what we think about. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. You innocent women, you.
Women are too pure, right?
No, they're not. They're monsters too. They're absolute monsters. But no, I mean, like, we have 17 times more testosterone.
Sure.
And it's an aggressive hormone. It's an aggressive hormone.
What do you do about that?
I had to grow up about it. I think it's really harder when you're young because you're not trained in things. Like, I studied Mantak Chia's work and Napoleon Hill's work and Kundalini yoga and creating Amrita and under the guidance. I got selfish and yearned for power once when a friend did sexual restriction. And so I wanted to get the high from it he was talking about. And it worked. I did it. But no, you need like a good reason. If a teacher is like, when I do a practice with the shaman, like, there's a month before that there's no sex, there's a month during the practice, no sex, and a month after, no sex. But he knows it and you know it. You don't over talk it, but we all know that we're restricting sex. And in that context, it sort of rechannels and it gets out of your mind. So your thoughts start to control how the testosterone is channeled. So there's things like that. And there's things you can do in your week to not be ruled by. And there's like outlets, like if I exercise, that's a great place to put the testosterone and that energy, even anger. Like if you box and you hit stuff, it just channels that rage that you could take a gun and blow up everybody. Like it gets it out of you. And when little boys are taught to be socialized like little girls, that's fucked up. That's fucked up because they're going to hit puberty and carry 17 times more testosterone and feel guilty about their feelings. They're going to not be trained in martial arts. They're going to be taught that jumping is wrong, that they should, let them throw trucks at each other. They're boys. They function in a dominance hierarchy. They're going to test each other. If you see them jumping off the building, stop them. But, what are your thoughts? Am I going off the deep end and getting political, or because it ties into the workshop? It's masculinity.
I think jumping is okay.
Jumping's okay. But what do you think about things like martial arts? Even girls, like amazing. Every young girl, if I had a daughter, I'd be like, you're learning to fucking throw an elbow and a knee. You have to, because you never know when she might be in a jam and have to throw an elbow or a knee. And it's healthy for her to have some basic self-defense skills.
Well, things like martial arts are beautiful because not only is it self-defense, but it's also awareness and mindfulness and being in tune and aware and in touch. And
teaches you about your breath. Like, it's so much of it. Once you get past just the mechanics of a punch, energetics and biomechanics and leverage. And if someone's coming at you, you can learn to redirect their energy. And what does that teach a kid, right? Mm-hmm. But we need to accept sports and that it's okay for boys to be socialized differently and to have outlets. And
boys are different from girls.
They're different, but I think we need there's a lot of things the feminine does that's beautiful in terms of feminine circles, moon circles, girls hanging out. What happened to the family is that the boy doesn't have an initiation rite of passage, a man showing him how to be a man. Homes are broken. And when homes are broken, as great as moms are not dads, right? They can do a damn good job, and feminists are going to argue with me and get angry with me. But I think there's a food. I fixed like being on the roof with my dad, passing him shingles and pounding it out in the sun, redoing the roof over a few weeks in the summer, and seeing him assess a house, a foundation of a house, redoing that house and selling it. Like, there's a certain food you get that you don't know you're getting, that when that's missing, something's discordant in that being, in they're deficient in their masculinity. And this is not saying that everyone needs to take my ideal of masculinity, but it's just about energy. There's polarity. The first evolute of this universe is polarity. It's everything. And looking, which I want to convey in our workshop, is that once you understand that, it creates peace. Like this terror I'm in with this girl, if I understand polarity, I know it's going to swing the other way. So why not unclutch? Why fight it? I said it shifted when I stopped resisting the flow of the universe. The universe wants me to move out of that neighborhood and out of that apartment. And as soon as I listened, I manifested the illest bachelor pad with a great view. It's amazing. It's amazing. All I had to do was listen, and it took 20 minutes for that apartment to drop into my lap. I was looking on Craigslist, and then I was like, my buddy Alex is rented. Let's see if his place is still available. And he's like, yeah, dude, come get the keys. 20 minutes over, I'm done. And it's a sick place. Like, just because I just stopped fighting and listening. And so I can teach that men need circles to know men aren't that comfortable being vulnerable with women. And it's fine, because you know what? It smells for a woman to see us vulnerable. I'm sorry. I saw my dad cry once when my brother died, and that was it. And that's fine. That's who I want for my father. That's okay. You know, when it really matters, when a man should cry when he can't really hold it back anymore, when he absolutely has to. And I think they need instead to be vulnerable around men. And that's the space I create in my men's health work and my coaching is you need to open up to guys. They'll give you solutions. They'll give you support work. We need each other, just like the women need each other in their moon circles and their gatherings and all that they're doing for each other, and saying, this is how you soothe your man when he's angry. This is what you do with your man when he comes home and he got fired. You give him a little space to get on his bootstraps. My friend, his wife, I'm close with the family. I went to spend a week with him. She's like, yeah, he sat on the couch for 3 months, but I was giving him 6 months and I was going to walk out the door and take the kid. And he knows it. So his depression can't wallow on forever. But she had a window of like, this is my husband, and he's totally fucked up right now. And he's depressed. He was making $250,000 and he's not, and he's a talented person. And like, he's on the couch and he's drinking a few beers too many and he's getting out of shape. And their sex life probably isn't good, but he turned it around. He turned it around at the last minute. He got inspired and went back into his business and became an entrepreneur and is on fire. But we can coach each other, and we can, the man now isn't having many resources, and we need to do men's health work so they feel safe getting in touch with their feelings.
Tell me more about that. How do you do that? Do you have
I think the breath is a teacher with, you know, what I teach men is I have that testosterone thing going on, right? So I could will myself through the marathon. I can bench 375. Men take pain and they bring it to a point and they fucking punch it and smash it to bits. That's how a man handles pain. Here's a woman with pain. It flows through their whole body and they have a baby. They take it right through their whole system. We can't handle pain like that. We're bitches. We'll fucking lose it. We are going to cry and shoot us in the head before we have a baby. I don't think we're strong enough to have a baby. No man can have a baby. So that's the circle, right? And polarity, like it's flowing all through you. And then you're going to push out, you're going to give birth, and we're going to punch it really hard, or we're going to lift it, or jump really high and dunk it, or we're going to throw a ball into the end zone. It's like the point and the circle. Focus. Mm-hmm. And like I said, a male or a female can embody that. What did you ask? How do we get on this thread?
Yeah, just I'm really curious about hearing more about
processing. So what I tell the men is, the things you've done, the benching you've done, the fighting you've done, everything you've done, the willpower is not going to work in my practice room. Bring 50% of that and match it with 50% surrender, and breathe rhythmically and listen to my count and match me. You have to make an effort and you have to let go. Willpower will not give you yoga. It will not open your body, and it will not bring insight. You need focus, which is your willpower, but you need to surrender to your breath and surrender to the moment and watch how your body opens. And when your body opens, you're going to unlock feelings, and they're okay to process. So the way I do it is by not being threatening. When I keep my body like this, it builds trust. And they know about, I put in my bio, train the Yankees, blah, blah, blah. They're, he's from sports. I won't turn into a skinny gay vegan in a year. I'll be okay with him. So that's one way. They're afraid, So I attract the most males in classes. Yeah, too much tofu. So my class in New York usually gets the most males of the teachers. So it's about getting in touch with your feelings safely. You need a safe context to say, this mat is my journey. I'm going to fly through the universe, inner space, through my body. Jai's okay. He's going to guide me. But that the way I emote and the way I process, but I still speak, walk, talk, act like a man, I'm inviting them to come along for the ride, that it's actually healing, integrative. I try not to, I think I'm breaking some stereotypes with my work, and it's exciting. That's why I ditched the friends who weren't doing it, because I want to, this is magical. I want to reach a lot of people, and it's not for money. I love money. I want to get a lot of money too, but it's so secondary. All I need is a farm and some animals and a hut to meditate in and a place to light a fire. I'm looking for that for myself, but at the end of the day, I know people are sideways. I know we're an ape that stood up, but I have faith. Why did we make it this far? Is it to die? Is it to, of course, we're supposed to be in outer space, which we already are, but we didn't survive ice ages and wars to get here and not, look at our potential. Look at the people that are inspired. That's inside of everyone if they just get the junk out of the way. So the work is to create dialogue and give people tools that they can advance themselves with.
So do you have the men talk about what's happening, or you just lead them? You do?
No, yeah. When I do workshops, yeah, sure. I give them space. There's exercises. I make them look in each other's eye. I make them say what the fuck is going, what they're angry about, whether it's their sex life, whether they're really angry with their wife, whether there's a loss in connection in their work, whether they're dispassionate about not realizing their childhood dream. I let them get it out, and then support each other and be strategic about having a support network. I think of it as forming a gang. The world is made of little gangs, but you need a gang. You need people that can support you, that you can call, that have your back. And more importantly, people that you can be vulnerable with, because if you bottle that side of yourself up, it comes back and it bites you really hard. And that implosion. I learned this in the theater from my acting teacher in my 20s. He's like, you have to let things move through you and come out of you. And if it doesn't, he said, it becomes violence. And that's what I think the gun shootings are about, the high school shootings is, the kids are a little flipped out with the drugs. The drugs are no good for your brain. Right. It creates faulty circuit. If you give a kid speed, you're borrowing energy from the future and burning out their circuits. You're overfiring. Some of it is useful, and we haven't perfected the use of it yet. But when a kid is frustrated, and all we do is glorify these people in the news, think about the apes. Right. And I know it's silly that I keep going back to apes, but I'm an evolutionary psychologist in the sense that status, we live in a hierarchical society. Status and reproduction and reproductive rights are what drives behavior so much. Your status is related to whether you're going to reproduce or not. Not everyone has a right to reproduction or becomes. So these guys, I think, are just having frustrated energy, and being on the news, you've made it. Like, it's a way of getting attention too, because they're all over the place. They know they're going to be, and I think that's got to be an incentive for part of it for them, is they finally get the attention they need and that they crave. And we all, I think there's a part of us, the narcissism exists on a scale. Not all narcissism is bad. There's deep narcissism where you thrive on controlling others and you love tons of attention. But there's a healthy narcissism that gets your dumb ass out of bed to do things. You know, I like being a guy that has a World Series ring and a leader and called upon in prestigious teaching settings and to be on TV and to do an interview. I dig it. I really like it. It's fun. It's great. I have something to say. I have the life experience and the scars and the battles, and put me there. I'm ready, you know? So there's a way that can be healthy. And that's part of being honest with what we are. Like, we like a certain amount of attention as children. If you didn't get attention as a child, geez, like, you know, we need that break from our parents, but to feel a healthy sense of self. But, you know, when we feel ignored, energy implodes, you know. And I think we've thrived as a species in interdependent communities, and we're so isolated in a city like this. There's so much isolation and loneliness and lack of connection. My friend is a musician, and he says he's a talented musician. He'll go with a harmonica and a guitar anywhere in the world and just blow it up. It's a power that he has. And he goes, people are walking up and going, great show, man. And they spent half of the show on their phone. And they're like, I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
That's what's happening to live music in most of New York. Only Long Island City are they listening. Yeah.
Really?
And talk to musicians who come here to tour. They'll tell you people aren't paying attention anymore. That's what we're spawning new mental disorders. They're busy documenting it. They're busy texting. And they paid to be at the show. And they're not at the show. And they'll still walk up to him and go, nice show, man. I really enjoyed that. And he's like, that's where we are.
Yeah.
You know? So I think the groups, that there's great work to be done in male support groups and female support groups, and groups like Tomorrow, where people are having dialogue, like the male and female are coming. I hope we can facilitate healthy dialogue in a group like that, where it's not just males and females, but about that union of opposites, and that's healthy in our bodies, but also in our relationships. Like, I'm not interested in dating a masculine energy woman. Good night. I've been there, I've done it, and it's never going to happen again. It's uninteresting to me. It's not even fun. But if she wants to learn about mastering that energy, and I'm comfortable being more feminine when it's called for, really comfortable, but it's not where I want to live. It's not fun for me. It's not my essence. It's not my father's DNA. So it's just, you know, I think it's healing for me to realize that. And I think for other men to claim that can be deeply healing, rather than to feel ashamed for it. And the way movies and the culture is portraying the Gillette commercial, where men are just complete buffoons, you know. That's a lot of movies, like the Will Ferrell movies, when he plays a dad, and he's just a complete idiot, you know, and you see it over and over and over again in the culture. So yeah, for a man, I leave it to the men to really get in touch with it themselves, not to take, my dad's military.
Is it like Gurkha, or what's your lineage?
What?
Your Indian lineage.
They're warriors that were from the Punjab region.
Oh, Punjabi.
So they're tough, big guys. Yeah. That's where the genes come from.
Punjabi.
But I was born in South America, in Guyana.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
that's where the genes come from. When I went to the north and I rode the motorcycle up, I was like, there's my uncle. These are the people. This is it. This
Right.
is, I can see these big,
Fierce.
fierce guys. And that's where it is. So tell me I talked a lot about the male side. Like tomorrow is very interesting. And it's fun that I know you've got it and we haven't fully structured it, but we kind of have an idea. But like, so what is that? What do you channel with women? Like, what do you teach them? And do you think I'm off the base that it's good to do some work in female groups and male groups and like?
No, I think it's wonderful. I mean, we did a retreat in Costa Rica in November and we limited it to women just because we thought it would be, and it was easier just to keep it separate.
Yeah.
A really safe container and keep out distraction.
Yeah.
And allow people to just really let whatever wanted to arise and experience it.
And though, like my thought on the
sisterhood,
the complementariness of male and female, but that there's some value in our evolutionary history to that distinction. And there's great value in choosing to be feminine and choosing to be masculine. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm not the kind of woman who believes in a feminism that women need to do everything that men do.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain things where, me personally, yes, sure, I could do it, but I'm like, I actually prefer that he builds the house, right? Like, he can build the house.
Yeah.
I have something
Grandma
else to do.
wasn't that stupid. She didn't go to war. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that, the whole womanism is about honoring what we do in our essence and what we're especially good at.
Yeah.
Not trying to do the things that men do. Because
and people should be free to do all the things that men do if they want to.
Right.
You know, like it's really neat. If they can pass the same standardized test and become a Navy SEAL, then do it. You shouldn't stop her because she's a woman. She's passing the same tests. But most women won't because their knees weren't built to survive the hell week. They're going to blow out their knees 50% higher rates than men will. If we're in war and you can't carry a body as much as that, get the hell off my squad. We have to be real about those differences. But there's a lot of women who are much better at martial arts than me because they train professionally, like the women MMA fighters. They excel at fighting. It's their life for 15 years and they're masters of it. So I think it is personal, but understanding the variability in life and when to apply the energies is good. I think it can be useful.
Right. And I think, as you've always said, that the most important teaching is how we embody both, is how I embody masculine and how I embody feminine, and how you as a man can embody both. And when you're going into more receptive versus more taking charge.
Yeah.
And we need both.
We need both. And it's very beautiful to be comfortable with yourself when you're switching, and the idea of yin and yang. Like I grew a lot from understanding opposites, and it expanded my vision in life to see the other side, the light, the dark, the in, the out. It makes you very patient, very steady, that when things flip in time to their opposite. And the best thing we can do in a world like today, where people are going to music festivals and looking at their phones, is to be steady. We need to steady the mind because our attention's being vied for everywhere. Mm-hmm. On your cab ride here, did you have a TV that was turned on that wouldn't go off? It's the most annoying thing.
We took Uber, so
okay, good. If you're in a taxi these days, I'm like, they won't turn off.
Oh, it's
like,
terrible.
why do I have to have that screen? And even subconsciously, it's still, you know what I mean? Like it's pulling neuronal really energy. Right. Even if I look away and I can't turn it off, that's obnoxious.
Right.
And can't pee without an ad in your face in New York. So it's true. You'll see in the next couple of days, there'll be ads everywhere, but steadiness is key. Right. And so we need to find steadiness, and the yin and yang, diving into the evolutes of the universe, first evolute polarity, and seeing it everywhere makes the dance alive. It's like seeing the DNA molecule or the complexity of the body. You just go, this stuff's ordered. I'm just part of something. I'm flowing in a huge interconnected matrix. And when you realize that, things that would piss you off, you get a longer fuse, I think,
So if you had some last words of wisdom or things that you often find yourself telling other people, or something that just kind of springs from your heart organically, what would you say?
I want to say nice spiritual things, but they're not real. Not that they're not real. They're not real for me at this moment. So I think what I want to get at is back to the inner strength, because ultimately we are a little alone, and that's what I believe in community.
We came in alone, we leave alone.
Yeah, and connection, and really that now how you're saying, I lean on myself first, and if I really need someone else, I think we all need that to go back to what does mental fortitude, what does strength mean to me, and how do I cultivate a relationship to strength, whether I'm a man or a woman, because my dog just died, or someone's squatting at my apartment, or I lost my job, or my business, I'm really stuck with growing the business, and I need to increase income for the fourth quarter to stay where I want to hit for next year. There are so many things that are changing and out of our control that I don't think it's bliss, and I don't think it's rainbows, and I don't think it's ecstasy, and I don't think it's samadhi. I think it's inner strength.
No, that's bullshit.
Yeah, they're real. They're real. You can take a drug and feel it. You can do those things are
and
real.
Then what?
But then you're
what?
still stuck with your habits, right? So you need strength to face yourself. I needed the strength to realize that anger I had in 2013 is absolutely foolish, and I shouldn't let it get that bad again. I need strength, and I need strength to meditate on shitty days. Not every day is really calling me to the cushion or to sit up, but I'm going to do it anyway, even though I know I'll probably be distracted and this is just perfunctory. So people listening, firm yourself up. And I don't mean just if you need to use your body to do that, use your body. But the only thing that's going to get you through illness is and all the changes is strength, is yourself. You have to get to where you're saying you trust yourself. I think self-confidence is synonymous with spirituality, self-confidence, and you come to know yourself through that resilience, through strength.
Last question for you. Tell me what you think about the strength of softness, or the resilience of softness.
You're hitting a polarity. I think it's something I'm not into exploring that much yet. I have been there, but I don't feel like at the end of the day, it's the level of renunciation you want to go in. So for example,
maybe softness isn't the right word.
Okay.
Because that could be, kind of like a no word for.
Yeah.
Surrender is your word.
It's beautiful. So I think their surrender is different.
What's the strength of surrender?
It's the most powerful thing in the universe. It's such an incredible force.
What is surrender?
You surrender your ego. You surrender thinking to listen. I'm going to go into it in a couple of layers. Surrender thinking and you feel yourself. Surrender control and you're free. Surrender dominance and you are in love, right? If you can exert masculinity through dominance, but it's not real. No one's really there. Stalin's people, Joseph Stalin's lieutenants, let him die of a heart attack. They watched him have a stroke. No one called a doctor. They could have. What kind of a ruler was he for that to happen? They had to sing and dance around him. So surrender is, your nature is love. Your nature is bliss. Your nature is kindness. That's what's underneath all of your anger and your shitty habits and your poor nutrition. Your love. You are the pulsating heartbeat of the universe. You can't get there through dominance. It's in the way. You can't get there through just discipline. You get there by humbly receiving and surrendering. And so, you know, to me, it's 50-50. I teach the path, 50% effort, abhyasa, vairagya, non-attachment, surrender, peace, receptivity. That's the ultimate polarity inherent in my practice. It's the 12th Yoga Sutra of Master Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It's the 12th one, and it's tattooed on my back. And it comes through in every teaching, is that you're not going to do this, guys, through effort. And it's nice that you've done most things in your life through just effort and discipline, but you need surrender. And it's so personal. It's not sitting up and crying on a TED Talk. It's not like putting your head on chopping block for your wife to like walk on. No, it's within it's surrender inside. It's surrender. It's like, oh, I made a mistake in front of the group and being okay with it. Or like, damn, that was a really goofy move. Or going up to someone and saying, I'm really sorry for the way I treated you. And like, I had to humbly, I broke my relationship with Jivamukti for 2 years by siding too quickly in a scandal the wrong way without being neutral. And that relationship needed healing. And I went to some of my longtime comrades in the game, and I had to one-on-one sit down with 3 different people and said, I wasn't proud of the way I behaved in this. And that took a year to get to. Before that were egotistical emails about, you were wrong, you did this, defensiveness. And I had to eat it and say, I am fucking sorry. I fucked up this thing. And I hope in time we can rebuild a new relationship. And I walked up to one teacher today, held her hand, and I said, may I, the time I've been back here 6 months ago, may I please come to your class? I love your class. And I want and everything. And she goes, I've been waiting for you to ask. I see you in class. I love you. That surrender, that humility, and that vulnerability to be like, I was an asshole. And I was just, you're senior to me, and I disrespected you with my ego. And I want us to have a new relationship going forward based on something that's not previously established, like a new space that's mature, knowing I made a mistake. And she was so generous and welcoming. And she was one of the people that inspired me to be a teacher. And we got in a rift over like a public scandal that all kinds of press was written about. And I got an earful because I was working closely with someone else. But without surrender, you're stuck in your ego and you're losing the game. Ego has to be tamed. It can't be totally suppressed, at least not all the time. You have to make friends with it. So I didn't like softness because I don't think a lot of men out there would relate to softness. Mm-hmm. But surrender is a divine, super conscious energy, and it must be met with its inversion of awareness. You don't want to surrender senselessly all over the place, but there's times to really look in and go, I didn't act well, or I don't have it figured out, or I don't know my next move. And I am a little anxious, and I hope the right answer comes in. And that's powerful. Like everyone can gain from that, but they need a teacher tells them that it's safe and they'll be okay to go into that, because it's scared to surrender your control. We want to control every variable. But look at me, I surrendered today and I got an apartment in 20 minutes that I'm going to love. I'm going to love waking up and having the sun wake me up. It's 5 a.m. I shifted my whole reality through just simply going, that's what the universe wants. Let's just let go. And then I was totally cared for. And I laughed. And when I went to the yoga class, I told my friend, I go, Jess, nature loves her children. The universe loves her children. Be vigilant. We're doing good work. And it turned around. She knew my calamity, and she was like, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. So it's what we're teaching tomorrow. That's what we're teaching. We're teaching effort and surrender, male and female. We're teaching left and right, up and down, darkness and light, inside and outside. The opposite is inside of whatever you're in now. It's inherent in it. And we're showing them that tomorrow.
I'll bring the softness.
Oh, Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna kick it off. It's gonna be good. The Mukti verse.
Well, so for the listeners, if you're not able to be in New York and attend this workshop, hopefully we'll have some more lined up in the future. Sacred design and working with the divine masculine and divine feminine.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you want to study with Jai, take yoga classes, get trained, or all of the other many tools and resources that he taps into, you can find him and your website is Jai,
JaiSugrim.com. And my handles on social is my name at Jai Sugrim. And I just committed to loading at least twice a week on YouTube because people are asking for long format. So I'm going to start. I've been doing it and I just need to keep going so the algorithm works for me and more people will tune in. So people can write me with stuff they're interested in. If it's a male topic, a spiritual topic, a health topic, you know my background from this. I'll make content that you want to see.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being
with
with
us.
us.
A cool talk. Thanks. Super good.
Thank you so much for listening to The Flower Lounge. I'm Katie Hess, and we'll be releasing a new podcast every Wednesday. If you like what you heard or you know someone who might be touched by our conversation, share it with them. And don't forget to subscribe. To find out what your favorite flowers mean about you, take the quiz at LOTUSWEI.com.